podcast. Today we're looking at 4.8, multiplying and dividing rational expressions assignment tutorial. Question 1 of 15. Find the product in any excluded values. Okay, so first off, we need to factor the numerator and denominator. Okay, there's nothing to factor here. Okay. Now, the denominator, we can factor a 2 from both of these terms, so that leaves 2 times x minus 5 times x minus 5 divided by x plus 9, because there's nothing to factor from those terms. Okay? All right. Now we want to reorder so we can divide any special ones out. So let's just write the numerator as is. But now we can put the 2 underneath the x. Okay, we can put the x minus 5 underneath the x minus 5. So we're done with these. And then the x plus 9. Okay? All right, well, we did that so we can see that this divides and becomes 1. So you're left with x divided by 2 times x plus 9. So this times this equals x divided by 2 times x plus 9. Okay. Now, to find the excluded values, we come back to here and we set everything in the denominator equal to 0. So 2. Okay. 2 equal to 0. Well, that doesn't equal, so we don't have to worry about that. X minus 5. I don't know why I just put that parentheses. Equal to 0. And x plus 9 equal to 0. Okay. Well, here we add 5 to both sides. So x equals 5. That's one of our excluded values. Okay. And then subtract 9 from both sides. X equals negative 9 is our next excluded value. Okay. All right. So that should help you with question 1. Let's move on to question 2. Okay. Question 2 of 15. Find the product and any excluded values. So we first need to factor the numerator and denominator. So it looks like we can factor 7x from both of these terms. So it's 7x, which leaves x plus 6, okay, divided by 2. Okay, times, there's nothing we can factor from these terms, so that's just times 4x divided by x plus 6. Now, we want to rearrange the numerator and denominator so we can find any special ones that divide out. So we can just rewrite the numerator, so 7x times x plus 6. Okay, we can go ahead and put the 2 underneath the 7, so we're done with that. And then we can put the x plus 6 there. But I almost forgot that, and we can actually go ahead and multiply this. So 4 times 7. Okay, we forgot to, I forgot to multiply. 7 times 4 is 28, and x times x is x squared, so that's 28 x squared. Okay. Now we can divide the 28 by 2, so that's 14 x squared, and then x plus 6 divided by x plus 6 is 1. So this times this equals 14x squared. Okay. Now for the excluded values, we set the denominator equal to 0. So we can set 2 times x plus 6 equal to 0. Well, divide both sides by 2. You get x plus 6 equal to 0. Subtract 6 from both sides. So the excluded value is x equals negative 6. Okay, that should help you with question 2. Okay, question 3 of 15. Find the product in any excluded values, okay? So we need to factor the numerator and denominator. So let's factor the numerator here. We know that that's going to be 2 parentheses times, we can't really do anything with a 3 right now. Okay, divided by, we can factor out, I'm almost certain 57 divides into 19, but let's check. 57 divided by 19 is 3. So we can factor in 19 from both of those. So it's 19, which leaves x plus 3. And then we know to factor that, it's 2 parentheses. Okay. All right, so now let's factor this. We need to find out what two numbers multiply to give you negative 12 combined to be negative 1. Okay. Before we do that, we know that x times x is x squared. So since the middle number is negative, the bigger number has to be negative. So 1 times negative 12 is negative 12. 1 minus 12 is negative 11. Okay, that doesn't work. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. 2 minus 6 is negative 4. We're getting close to the negative 1. So now 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. So we have our negative 12 and negative 1. So our factors are x plus 3, x minus 4. Okay. Now we need to factor this. We need to find out what two numbers multiply to give you negative 8 and combine to be negative 2. Okay. So we know that 1 times negative 8 is negative 8. 1 minus 8 is negative 7. That doesn't work. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Okay. 2 minus 4 equals negative 2. So we have our negative 8 or negative 2. So our factors are x plus 2, x minus 4. Okay. At this point, we're going to rearrange the numerator and denominator so we can divide any special ones. So I'm just going to put the 3 in front. So it's 3 times x plus 3 times x minus 4. Okay. $19 we'll keep in front. And we said, well, look, do we have any x plus 3s? We do, right there. So we're done with the 19. We have the x plus 3. So we're done with that. Okay, do we have any x minus 4s? We do. X minus 4. Done with that. And then x plus 2. We can see that this divides and becomes 1. This divides and becomes 1. So we're left with 3 divided by 19 times x plus 2. Okay, so this times this equals 3 divided by 19 times x plus 2. Okay. All right, now for the excluded values, we set each of these equal to 0. Okay. So let's set 19 times x plus 3 equal to 0, x minus 4 equal to 0, and x plus 2 equal to 0. Now, we divide 19 from both sides. So then you have x plus 3 equal to 0. Okay, subtract 3 from both sides. X equals negative 3 is our first excluded value. Okay. Here we add 4 to both sides. So x equals 4 is our next excluded value. And here we subtract 2 from both sides. So x equals -2. So that's our last excluded value. Okay. That should help you with question number 3. All right, question 415. Find the product in any excluded values, okay? So we need to factor the numerators and denominators, okay? This is a special factor. This is a difference of squares, so that factor is to be x minus 1, x plus 1, divided by 2 parentheses, we know because of x squared, okay, times, there's nothing we can factor with the x squared, and then we can factor in x from each of these terms, which leaves x times x minus 1. Okay, so now we know x times x. Okay, now we need to find out what numbers multiplied to give you 4 combined to be 5. Okay, so 1 times 4 is 4. 1 plus 4 is 5. So our factors are 1 and 4. So x plus 1, x plus 4. Okay, now let's rearrange the numerator and denominator. Now I'm going to write x squared as x times x, and you'll see why in just a few moments. And then x minus 1 times x plus 1. Okay. Now we're looking for anything that divides and becomes 1. Well, we can put the x right here. Okay, now we're looking for an x minus 1. We have that, so x minus 1, so I'm done with that. Do we have an x plus 1? We do, x plus 1. Done with that, and then we have x plus 4. Okay, now this divides and becomes 1, that divides and becomes 1, that divides and becomes 1, and we're left with now x divided by x plus 4. Okay, so this times this equals x divided by x plus 4. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, x divided by x is 1. Why doesn't this become 1? Because the x is with the 4. So in order for this to be 1, this would have to be x plus 4 on top. Okay. All right, so now we need to set all of the denominators equal to 0 for the excluded value. So x equals 0, x minus 1 equal to 0, x plus 1 equal to 0, and x plus 4 equal to 0. Okay. All right, well, x equals 0. Now, it says excluded values from least to greatest. So we know that this is one of them, but we don't know, we need to know all of them to write them from least to greatest. So add 1 to both sides, x equals 1. Okay, subtract 1 from both sides, x equals -1. And then subtract 4 from both sides, x equals -4. Okay, well, the least would be -4. Okay, and then -1. So we're done with that. We're done with that one. And then 0, then 1. Okay, so there are your excluded values from least to greatest. Might be hard to see, so let me write this a little darker. So this is -4, -1, 0, 1. We wanted to close the curtains to adjust the lighting. apologize. The sun is the enemy of making a video. So I have blocked the enemy of the sun so that you should be able to see these problems clearly. Okay, so let's look at question 5. Okay, question 5 of 15. Find the quotient. Now we're dividing and the excluded value. So when you divide, you have to multiply by the reciprocal. So that's 6x squared plus 30x divided by x squared plus 8x plus 16 times, we have to multiply by the reciprocal, so times x squared minus 16 divided by 24x plus 120. Now we need to factor the numerator and denominator, okay? Okay, so here we can factor out a 6x from both terms, so that's 6x, which leaves x plus 5 times, well, this is a difference of squares, so that's x minus 4, x plus 4, okay, divided by, we know 2 parentheses, and then here we can factor out, I don't think 24 goes into 120, let's check. It does, that's interesting. So we can factor out 24 from each term. So that's 24 times x plus 5. So now we need to factor this. We know x and x makes x squared. This is an easy one because we have to figure out what multiplies to give you 16 combines to be 8. So start with 1. 1 times 16 is 16. 1 plus 16 is 17. That doesn't work. Okay. 2 times, let's see, 8 is 16. 2 plus 8 is 10. We're getting close to 8. So now, let's see, 3 doesn't work. 4 times 4 equals 16. 4 plus 4 equals 8. We have our 16 and 8. Our factors are x plus 4, x plus 4. Okay, now let's rearrange so we can find any special ones. So I'm going to leave the numerator alone. It's easier to rearrange the denominator to find the special one. So then that's x minus 4 times x plus 4. Okay, let's go ahead and put the 24 in front. Okay, so put 24 right here. So we're done with that. Now, do we have any x plus 5s? We do, so x plus 5. Okay, so we're done with that. Do we have any x minus 4s? We don't. So we're just going to put the x plus 4 here. Okay, so now 6 divided by 24, it reduces to be 1/4. X, this divided becomes 1, this divided becomes 1, so times x minus 4 divided by x plus 4. So this divided by this is 1x times x minus 4 divided by x plus 4. Okay. So now we need to set each of these equal to 0. You can ignore, we've already saw if you set that, that's not going to equal to 0. So we can set this, this, and this equal to 0. So x plus 5 equal to 0. X plus 4 equal to 0. And then x plus 4 equal to 0. Okay. Okay, so here we subtract 5 from both sides. So x equals -5 is one of our excluded values. Here we subtract 4 from both sides. X equals -4. We would do the same here, so we know that this equals -4. So it's -4 and -4. Okay, that should help you on question number 4. Or I'm sorry, question 5. All right, question 6 of 15. Okay, find the quotient and any excluded values. So when we divide, we have to multiply by the reciprocal. So that's x squared minus 8x plus 15 divided by x squared plus 8x plus 15 times x squared minus 9 divided by x squared minus 25. Okay. Now, we're going to factor. We know 2 parentheses here times, well, this is easy. This is a difference of squares, so that's x plus 3, x minus 3, and then, okay, we know 2 parentheses, and then this is the difference of squares as well, so that's x plus 5, x minus 5. Okay, now to make this, we know x times x is x squared. Now we need to find out what multiplies to give you 15 and combines to be -8. Okay, well, -1 times -15 is positive 15. -1 minus 15 is -16. That didn't work. 2 doesn't work. 3, -3 times -5 is positive 15. -3 minus 5 is -8. We have our 15 and -8, so our factors are x minus 3 and x minus 5. Now, in essence, a -3 times a -5 gives you 15. -3 combines with -5 is -8. Since that's a positive 8, this one's simple. It's just x plus 3x plus 5. Okay? Now, we need to rearrange so we can divide it in any special ones. But let's just leave the numerator alone. It's easier to rearrange the denominator. Okay, so we need any x minus 3s. We don't have any. Do we have any x minus 5s? We do. So we're done with that. Do we have any x plus 3s? We do. X plus 3. Okay. Do we have any x minus 3s? We don't. So that means these can just go right here. X plus 5 and x plus 5. Okay. This and this divides and becomes 1. So we're left with x minus 3 times x minus 3 divided by x plus 5, x plus 5. Okay, so that means this divided by this is equal to x minus 3 times x minus 3 divided by x plus 5, x plus 5, which this is special because this can be written as x minus 3 squared divided by x plus 5 squared. Okay. All right. Now let's look at the excluded values. We need to set x plus 5 equal to 0. Now there's 2 of them, so x plus 5 equal to 0, x plus 5 equal to 0. And then we need to set x minus 5 and x plus 3 equals 0. So x minus 5 equal to 0, and x plus 3 equal to 0. All right, subtract 5 from both sides. So x equals -5. But that's the same thing, so we know that this is equal to -5 as well. So -5, -5. Add 5 to both sides. X equals 5. Subtract 3 from both sides. X equals -3. So 5 and -3. Okay? All right. Question 7 of 15. Find the quotient and any excluded values, okay? So we need to multiply by the reciprocal, so that's, and I'm going to go ahead and factor out a -1 here. So that's -1 x squared plus 1x minus 42 divided by 7x squared minus 42x times 4x minus 28 divided by x plus 7. Because remember, we need to multiply by the reciprocal. Okay. So now we know we're going to leave the -1 alone, 2 parentheses, times, we can factor out a 4 from both of those. That leaves 4 times x minus 6. Okay. And then we can factor out a 7x from both of these terms. So that's 7x, which leaves x minus 6. And then that's just x plus 7. There's nothing we can do with that. Okay. Now let's factor this. We know x and x is x squared. And side note, the reason we factor out the -1, because factoring with a -1 in front of the x squared is very difficult. So factoring out the -1 makes this factoring a lot easier, okay? Now we need to find out what combination multiplies to be -42 and combines to be 1. Okay? Since the middle number is positive, the bigger number is positive, okay? All right? So we have -1 times -1 times positive 42 is -42. -1 plus 42 is 41. So we definitely are far away from 1, so let's keep going. -2 times 21 is -42. -2 plus 21 equals 19. We're getting closer, a lot closer to 1. So now let's try, -3. And the way I can do this is if I take 42 divided by 3, 14. Okay, so -3 times 14 is -42. -3 plus 14 is 11. So we're getting closer to 1, but we're not there yet. Okay, I think -4 doesn't work. -5. -6 times 7 is -42. -6 plus 7 is 1. So, okay, we have a -42 and 1. Our factors are x minus 6 and x plus 7. Okay, now let's rearrange so we can divide out any special ones. So -1 times x minus 6 times x plus 7. And actually, we could have done this. 4 times -1 is -4. Okay, and then times x minus 6. Okay, now, nothing really we can do with the 7x, so we'll just leave that in front. Okay, now do we have any x minus 6? Yes, so we have x minus 6. Okay, so we're done with that. And do we have an x plus 7? We do. x plus 7. So now this divides and becomes 1. This divides and becomes 1. You're left with negative 4 times x minus 6 divided by 7x. Okay, so this divided by this is negative 4 times x minus 6 divided by 7x. Okay, so now let's set the denominators equal to 0. Okay, so we set 7x equal to 0. Okay, we set x minus 6 equal to 0. And then we set x plus 7 equal to 0. All right, so we divide 7 by both sides. X equals 0. That's your first excluded value, okay? And then add 6 to both sides. X equals 6 is your next excluded value. And then subtract 7 from both sides. X equals negative 7 is your last excluded value, okay? All right, let's take a look at question 8. Okay, question 8 of 15. Find the quotient and any excluded values, okay? So again, we need to multiply by the reciprocal, so that's x plus 3 divided by x squared plus 10x plus 21 times x minus 7 divided by x squared minus 49. Okay, now we need to factor the numerator and denominator. There's nothing to do with the x plus 3 times, there's nothing to do with the x minus 7. Okay, now we know here 2 parentheses. And then this is special in that you're just the difference of squares, so that's x minus 7 times x plus 7. Okay? So now this we know x and x makes x squared. Okay? Now we need to find all the combinations that multiply to be 21 and combine to be 10. Okay? So 1 times 21 is 21. 1 plus 21 is 22. So we're pretty far from 10. So now 2 doesn't work. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 plus 7 is 10. We have our 21 and 10. So our factors are x plus 3, x plus 7. Okay. Now let's rearrange so we can divide out any special ones. So we have x plus 3 times x minus 7 in the numerator. Now we look in the denominator. Do we have an x plus 3? We do. So that's x plus 3. So we're done with that. Do we have an x minus 7? We do. X minus 7. So we're done with that. And then we have x plus 7 times x plus 7. Okay. So this divides and becomes 1. This divides and becomes 1. You're left with 1 divided by x plus 7, x plus 7. So this divided by this is 1 divided by x plus 7 times x plus 7. Okay. Now we set the denominator equal to 0 for the excluded values. Okay, so we said x plus 3 equal to 0. X minus 7 equal to 0. And then x plus 7 twice equal to 0. Okay, so we subtract 3 from both sides. So x equals negative 3. That's our first excluded value. Okay, add 7 to both sides. X equals 7 is our next excluded value. Subtract 7 from both sides. X equals negative 7, and that's also going to be x equals negative 7. So negative 7 and negative 7. Okay? All right. Let's take a look at question number 9. Okay? Find the quotient and any excluded value. So we need to multiply by the reciprocal. So times x squared plus 8x divided by x squared plus 4x minus 32. Okay, so we need to factor the numerator and denominator. So x squared, we know 2 parentheses. Here we can factor out an x from both terms, so that's x times x plus 8. Okay. This is just divided by 2x. And then this, 2 parentheses, okay. All right, so let's factor this. We know x times x makes x squared. We need to find out what combination multiplies to give you 4 and combines to be negative 5. Well, negative 1 times negative 4 is negative 5. Negative 1 minus 4 is, negative 1 times a negative 4 is a positive 4. Negative 1 minus 4 is a negative 5. So we have our 4, negative 5. So our factors are x minus 1, x minus 4. Okay. Now, we need to find all the factors of that multiply to give you negative 32 and combine to be 4. So since the middle number is positive, the bigger number has to be positive. So negative 1 times 32 is negative 32. Negative 1 plus 32 is 31. That doesn't work. Okay, so we're pretty far from 4, so let's keep going. Negative 2 times 16 is negative 32. Negative 2 plus 16 is 14, so that doesn't work. Okay, negative 3 doesn't work. Negative 4 times, let's see. This is the fast way to find out. I'm going to take 32 divided by 4 is 8. Okay, so negative 4 times 8 is negative 32. Negative 4 plus 8 is 4. So we have our negative 32 and our 4, so our factors are x minus 4x plus 8. Okay? So let's rearrange so we can divide any special ones. I'm going to go ahead and put the x in front. And then x minus 1 times x minus 4 times x plus 8. The numerator rearranging doesn't really matter as long as you put the x in front. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and put the 2x here. So we're done with that. Do you have any x minus 1s? No. Do we have an x minus 4 and x plus 8? Yes. X minus 4, x plus 8. So we're done with these. So this divides and becomes 1. This divides and becomes 1. That divides and becomes 1. So then you're left with x minus 1 divided by 2. So this divided by this is x minus 1 divided by 2. Okay? So now we need to set all of these equal to 0. So 2x equal to 0. X minus 4 equal to 0. And then x plus 8 equal to 0. So divide both sides by 2. X equals 0. Okay? Add 4 to both sides. X equals 4. Okay? And then subtract 8 from both sides. X equals negative 8. Okay? So our excluded values are 0, 4, negative 8. All right. Question 10 of 15. Find the quotient and any excluded values. Okay. All right. So we need to multiply by the reciprocal. So 9x plus 27 divided by x squared plus 6x plus 9 times x squared minus 1x minus 12 divided by x squared minus 4x. Okay? All right, so let's factor in 9 from here. So that's 9 times x plus 3 times 2 parentheses. We'll come back to that. Okay? And then 2 parentheses for that. And then this, we can factor out an x from both terms. So it's x times x minus 4. Okay? All right, so we need to, for this, we know x times x is x squared. Now we need to find out what numbers multiply to give you negative 12 combined to be negative 1. Since the middle number is negative, the bigger number has to be negative. So 1 times negative 12 is negative 12. 1 minus 12 is negative 11. That doesn't work. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. 2 minus 6 is negative 4. That doesn't work. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. We have our negative 12 and negative 1, so our factors are x plus 3, x minus 4. Okay. Now, this make x squared. Okay. Now, when you find all the numbers that multiply to give you 9, combine to be 6. So, we know that 1 times 9 is 9. 1 plus 9 is 10. That didn't work. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 plus 3 is 6. So our factors are x plus 3, x plus 3. Okay, so let's rearrange. So then let's just leave that 9x plus 3, x plus 3, x minus 4. And then I think if we just write it in the same order, x plus 3, x plus 3, x plus, or x minus 4. Okay, this divides 1, 1, 1. We're left with equal to 9. So this divided by this equals 9, which is very interesting that all of that divided by all this would equal just a simple 9. Okay. Now we're going to set x plus 3 equal to 0, x plus 3 equal to 0, and x minus 4 equal to 0. So we subtract 3 from both sides, so x equals negative 3. Well, that's going to be x equals negative 3, and then add 4 to both sides, x equals 4. So our excluded values are negative 3, and 4. Okay, if you would, let's take a look at question number 10. Okay. All right. I'm sorry, question 11 of 15. Let p of x equal 1 divided by x plus 2 and q of x equal 1 divided by x minus 2. Perform the operation p of x plus q of x. So we have 1 divided by x plus 2 plus 1 divided by x minus 2. Now, let's go ahead and put those in parentheses. Now, in order for these to be added, we have to have the same denominator. So we need to multiply this by x minus 2 divided by x minus 2. Now, if we multiply this times x plus 2 divided by x plus 2, now they have the same denominator. Now we can add the numerators. So we have x minus 2 plus x plus 2 divided by x plus 2 times x minus 2. Okay, so now we combine x and x, 1x and 1x is 2x. Negative 2 and 2 cancels, so that's 2x divided by x plus 2 times x minus 2. So p of x plus q of x is 2x divided by x plus 2x minus 2. Okay. All right, so show that the operation results in another rational expression. The numerator and denominator are polynomials, so this is a rational function or a rational expression. Okay. All right. All right. Question 12 of 15. Let p of x equal 1 divided by x plus 1 and q of x equal 1 divided by x minus 1. Perform the operation p of x minus q of x. So we have 1 divided by x, and let's go ahead and put that in parentheses, x plus 1 minus 1 divided by x minus 1. Now, just like addition, you can't subtract unless they have the same denominator. So we need to multiply this by x minus 1 divided by x minus 1, and this times x plus 1 divided by x plus 1. Now they have the same denominator. We can combine the numerator. So that just is x minus 1. But now here we need to multiply negative 1 times each of these terms. So negative 1 times x is negative 1x, and negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Okay, and that's all divided by x plus 1 times x minus 1. So let's simplify the numerator. 1x minus 1x, that cancels. Negative 1 and negative 1 is negative 2, divided by x plus 1, x minus 1. Okay? All right, so p of x minus q of x is negative 2 divided by x plus 1 times x minus 1. Okay? So, show that the operation results in another rational expression. The numerator and denominator are polynomials, so it is a rational expression. All right, question 13 of 15. Let P of x equal 1 divided by x plus 4 and Q of x equal 1 divided by x minus 4. Perform the operation, multiplication. Okay, so we have 1 divided by x plus 4 times 1 divided by x minus 4. Now, when you're multiplying, you don't have to have a common denominator. You just multiply the numerators and denominators. So 1 times 1 is 1. And then x plus 4 times x minus 4 is x plus 4 times x minus 4. Okay? And that's it. So this times this is 1 divided by x plus 4 times x minus 4. Very simple. Okay? Now, show that the operation results in another rational expression. The numerator and denominator are polynomials, so it is a rational expression. All right? All right, question 14 of 15. Let P of x equal 1 divided by x plus 5 and Q of x equal 1 divided by x minus 5. Perform the operation. P of x divided by Q of x. So that's 1 divided by x plus 5 divided by 1 divided by x minus 5. So you multiply by the reciprocal. So then this is 1 divided by x plus 5 times x minus 5 divided by 1. So this equals x minus 5 divided by x plus 5. So P of x divided by Q of x is x minus 5 divided by x plus 5. Okay? All right? So show that the operation results in another rational expression. The numerator and denominator are polynomials, so it is a rational expression. All right? Last question, 15 of 15. Okay? Find a rational expression for the ratio of the surface area of a cylinder to the volume of a cylinder. Then find the ratio when the radius is 9 inches and the height is 20 inches. Enter the ratio as a fraction. The ratio of the cylinder's surface area to its volume is. All right. So the surface area of a cylinder's formula is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh. And the volume of the cylinder's formula is pi r squared h. Okay? So here, we can factor the numerator because they both have a pi and they both have r. So, and they also, we can factor out a 2. Okay? So we can factor out 2 pi r, which leaves r, that's the only thing left there, plus, we factor out 2, the pi and the r plus h. Okay? Now, there's nothing to factor out here, but we can put the pi, I can write r as r times r and h. Okay? So the pi's divided and become 1, the r's divided and become 1, so you're left with 2 times r plus h divided by RH. Okay? At this point, we know that the radius is 9, the height is 20. We're going to plug those numbers into here. So that equals 2 times 9 plus 20 divided by 9 times 20. Okay? So then that equals 2 times 29 divided by 9 times 20 is 180. Apparently we need a few more lines of space. Okay, so let's do 2 times 29. Oh, I don't want that. I need calculator. That's what I need. I'll go back to there. So 2 times 29 is 58 divided by 180 is a fraction. So I would say to leave this as 58 divided by 180. Okay. Okay, but I have an eerie feeling that they're going to want you to reduce that. Okay, so we can actually divide 58 by 2, and we can divide, so we can divide 180 divided by 2 is 90, so that reduces to be 29 divided by 90. Okay. Now, what I would probably do is to double check if I did this factoring correctly. If I plug in 9 and 20 to here, okay, then I should get the same 29 divided by 90. Okay, so let's do that just to check. Okay, so if I do 2 pi times 9 squared plus 2 pi times 9 times 20 divided by pi times 9 squared times 20. Okay, so this is where Desmos will come in handy. Okay, so first off, oh, we don't want that. We want scientific calculator. So let's do this. Let's exit out. We don't need that. Let's do 58 divided by 180. As a reference, we got 0.33 or 322. Okay, so now we're going to divide, and we're going to put 2. Pi is, I don't think there's a pi symbol. Oh, there's pi. Pi times 9 squared plus 2 pi times 9 times 20 divided by pi times 9 squared times 20. Here's, wouldn't you know it, they are the same, so this factors correctly. Okay, or I should say this doesn't factor correctly. The work we did to factor to get that is the same as that. Okay, so if I'm honest, you probably could have just done that in the start to get the answer. Okay, all right, so with that, that should help you with all of your questions on the assignment. Please complete 4.8 my.hrw.com and have a wonderful Wildcat day.